Hey everyone, get ready, because today we're going full paranormal and diving deep into Ghostbusters.
One of the greatest films ever made.
Absolutely. A true classic. It's got everything. Comedy, sci-fi, action.
Special effects that still hold up today.
They really do. And those iconic lines, who you gonna call?
Everyone knows that one. Ghostbusters just captured that 80s zeitgeist perfectly. It's scary, funny, and just pure entertainment.
Okay, let's get right into it. That opening scene in the New York Public Library, pure genius. It starts so subtly.
Right, those creepy, unexplained occurrences, books flying off the shelves.
Then boom, we get that full-on ghost appearance.
That librarian's reaction, you can feel her terror. It sets the tone for the whole movie. A blend of humor and genuine scares.
Speaking of scares, those visual effects, especially for 1984.
I know, that floating ghost, the way it just disappears into thin air. It's amazing how well it holds up even today.
Okay, so from the library, we jump over to Columbia University.
Where we meet our heroes, the Ghostbusters. Each one so unique and memorable.
Starting with Peter Venkman. Bill Murray. What a legend.
His comedic timing is unmatched. That dry wit, those sarcastic one-liners.
He makes even the most absurd situations hilarious.
He's the perfect foil to Ray Stantz, played by Dan Aykroyd.
Ray is the heart of the team, the true believer in the paranormal. You can feel his enthusiasm.
It's like he's living out every kid's dream of becoming a Ghostbuster.
And then there's Egon Spengler, played by Harold Ramis, the brains of the operation.
He's the one who grounds everything in, well, a sort of science.
Right, building those nuclear-powered proton packs to capture ghosts.
That's what makes the Ghostbusters so great. They blend science and the supernatural in this really fun, imaginative way.
But their methods don't exactly win them any favors with the university.
No, not really. That ESP experiment scene.
Venkman hitting on the female student while zapping the poor guy. You're right, no human being would stack books like this.
It's hilarious, but also it shows how their unconventional approach gets them into trouble.
And gets them fired. But hey,
Yeah.
every cloud has a silver lining, right?
Exactly. Losing their jobs leads them to their greatest idea, starting their own ghost-catching business.
Ghostbusters, who you gonna call?
Pure genius. They take this primal human fear of the unknown and turn it into a business.
New York City is experiencing a surge in paranormal activity.
And the Ghostbusters are ready to answer the call.
But things start to get really creepy with Dana Barrett.
Played by the amazing Sigourney Weaver.
Her apartment is a hotbed of paranormal activity. It starts subtly with those self-cooking eggs.
And then escalates quickly with the appearance of Zool.
That demonic terror dog lurking in her refrigerator. Chilling.
The way the film builds suspense is masterful. It's both terrifying and funny at the same time.
They use everyday objects like refrigerators and make them into portals to the supernatural.
That's what I love about Ghostbusters. It blends the ordinary with the extraordinary.
Speaking of extraordinary, how about the Ghostbusters' first official bust at the Sedgwick Hotel?
That scene is a perfect example of how the film balances humor with action.
Proton packs blazing, ghosts flying everywhere, and that unforgettable line, "Don't cross the streams."
The perfect introduction to the stakes. Crossing the streams could have serious consequences. It creates real tension even in the midst of the chaos.
They've got the gear, the guts, and the ghost-busting skills. But can they handle what's coming next?
We'll find out. From zero to heroes, the Ghostbusters become overnight sensations.
It's like everyone in New York City suddenly realizes, hey, ghosts are real,
Yeah.
and these guys can handle them.
I mean, who wouldn't be impressed after seeing those proton packs in action?
Talk about a visual spectacle.
Pure movie magic.
But as their fame grows, so does the paranormal threat. And then we get the addition of Winston Zeddemore.
Ernie Hudson is fantastic in that role.
He adds this whole new dynamic to the team.
He brings a grounded perspective, a voice of reason amidst all the chaos, and he asks the questions we're all thinking, like, what are we really dealing with here?
Right, it's not just mischievous spirits anymore. They're facing something much darker. And then we have Walter Peck.
The ultimate bureaucratic villain.
Ugh, talk about frustrating. He just refuses to believe in anything he can't explain.
That skepticism, that blind adherence to rules, even in the face of the supernatural.
And it leads to disaster. Shutting down the containment system.
Unleashing total paranormal chaos on the city.
The streets are flooded with ghosts. It's pandemonium.
But even amidst the chaos, the film manages to balance those scares with humor. Like that scene where the ghost bursts out of the hot dog cart.
Oh, I know. A mock of hilarious and, well, Kind of gross.
It's those little moments that make Ghostbusters such a joy to watch.
It never takes itself too seriously.
But things definitely take a darker turn when Dana gets possessed by Zool.
Sigourney Weaver is incredible in that scene. You can feel the shift in her character. From this strong, independent woman to this...
almost seductive, predatory entity, the gatekeeper.
It's both fascinating and terrifying. And then you have Louise Tully, played by the one and only Rick Moranis.
Possessed by the Keymaster. Transformed from a nerdy accountant into this rambling devotee of Gozer. It's such a great juxtaposition to Dana's possession.
Right. One is terrifying, and the other is almost comical. But both highlight how these supernatural forces can manipulate people, twist their personalities and desires for their own sinister purposes.
Exactly. And as if things couldn't get any worse for our heroes, they end up in jail.
Talk about bad timing. The Ghostbusters, behind bars while the city is overrun with ghosts.
But even in jail, they're working, trying to piece together the clues.
Which leads to Egon's discovery about Ivo Shandor and Dana's building.
That's when the real scope of the threat becomes clear. Shandor wasn't just an architect, he was the leader of this Gozer-worshipping cult.
And he designed Dana's building to be a conduit for Gozer. Basically a giant supernatural antenna.
It's brilliant how the film connects all these seemingly random paranormal events to this larger, much more sinister plan. Suddenly, it's not just about catching ghosts, it's about saving the world.
And that leads to the epic showdown atop Dana's building.
The Ghostbusters facing Gozer.
This all-powerful entity who demands they choose the form of the Destructor.
And of course, what happens?
Ray accidentally summons the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
The ultimate symbol of childhood innocence, transformed into this city-crushing behemoth. It's genius.
Okay, so we've got a skyscraper-sized Marshmallow Man rampaging through New York City. What do? Proton packs aren't exactly going to cut it.
They try, of course, but they're clearly outmatched.
So what's the plan? How do you stop a giant Marshmallow Man?
Egon, ever the brilliant scientist, comes up with a risky plan, crossing the proton streams.
But didn't they say that was a really bad idea? Like catastrophic?
Yes, but desperate times call for desperate measures.
So they're willing to risk everything, their own lives, the entire city, to stop Gozer. That's intense.
It's a moment of pure courage and selflessness. They're not just fighting for themselves, they're fighting for everyone.
So they cross the streams. Then what happens?
Total protonic reversal. A massive explosion.
They destroy the temple, Gozer, and of course, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
The city is saved.
Talk about a climax.
It's a truly spectacular finale. But do our heroes make it out alive?
That's what we're all wondering. We need to know.
Did they survive? Of course they did. They emerged from that marshmallowy chaos.
Covered in goo, but victorious.
New York City is safe. Dana and Louie are free from those possessions.
And Peter, well, he finally gets the girl.
Classic Hollywood ending.
But with a Ghostbusters twist, that quick glimpse of Slimer at the very end.
Hinting at the possibility of more ghost-busting adventures.
It's just a brilliant movie. So many memorable moments.
And beyond the laughs and those amazing special effects,
It really makes you think.
there are those deeper layers of meaning woven throughout the film. It's a commentary on science and faith, bureaucracy versus innovation, even the power of belief itself.
Yeah, we've talked about the humor and the action, but Ghostbusters really does make you question things.
It challenges you to think about those big questions, the rational versus the irrational.
The known versus the unknown.
How we, as humans, deal with things we can't explain.
Like ghosts.
Exactly. It's all there in the film.
And Ghostbusters manages to explore those themes without ever losing its sense of fun.
It's that perfect blend of entertainment and substance.
Absolutely. We've got to talk about those special effects, too. Groundbreaking for 1984.
I mean, the proton streams, the way they animated the ghosts, it still looks amazing today.
And that Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. A giant marshmallow man stomping through the city. Who thinks of that?
It's those visuals, that creativity that make Ghostbusters so iconic.
And that soundtrack. Ray Parker Jr.'s theme song. Instant classic.
I dare you to try and get that out of your head.
Impossible. It's so catchy.
It's part of the film's DNA. And Ghostbusters is more than just a movie, it's a cultural phenomenon.
Sequels, cartoons, video games, toys, you name it.
It's become a part of our collective imagination.
Ghostbusters is a reminder to laugh, to embrace the weird and wonderful, and to never lose that sense of childlike awe.
To believe in the impossible.
And on that note, I think we've busted enough ghosts for today.
This deep dive has been a blast.
If you haven't seen Ghostbusters, well, what are you waiting for? It's a true classic.
And for all you longtime fans out there,
Give it another watch. I guarantee you'll discover something new.
it's a film that just keeps on giving.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite movies. And until next time.
Stay spooky!